Hello, so this video is just going to be a really quick one and it's going to be about what to expect when going for an MRI scan. So I've had 11 MRI scans in my life, so I feel like I'm well equipped to tell you what to expect. So let's get started. I'm also going to give you a few tips to try and help you have as smooth of an experience as possible, because I know MRIs can be quite daunting. Okay, so just quickly, what actually is an MRI scan? So MRI stands for magnetic resonance imaging, and it's basically a process by which there's a huge magnetic field put around your body. That's why you can't have metallic things in your body for the procedure. And it creates images of tissues, muscles, ligaments, things like that. It's different to an X-ray because it actually can show those tissues, whereas an X-ray will just show you the bones. Okay, so first thing to expect is that they'll make you fill in a survey to make sure that you have nothing kind of in your body that could interact with the machine. So this is things like if you have any bits of metal in your body, piercings, pacemakers, if you've had surgery before, if you have any health conditions. So that's pretty straightforward, you just have to fill in a form. Next, they'll ask you to remove any sort of metallic bits in your clothing, any jewelry, and then you'll enter the MRI room. So the MRI room, it's basically just the machine, which is pretty big and loud. It's quite a narrow room generally, and there's a glass sort of window where the radiologists are looking at a bunch of computer screens and they can see you when you're in the machine. Then you'll get given a sort of shower cap to put over your head just for hygiene reasons, and they will put headphones over your ears because the machine is very loud. Most times they will ask you if you want to listen to a specific radio station or music artist, which is quite nice. When I had my last one done, I requested Taylor Swift, which always makes the experience a bit less stressful. Although you don't really hear much of the music because they also give you earplugs to put in. The radiologist will install you in the machine, so depending on which part of your body is getting scanned, they will place a special contraption for that part. So if you're having an MRI on your knee, they will put a little box around your knee to secure it in place. They will also give you a little rubber thing to squeeze in case you feel uncomfortable during the procedure. If you squeeze it, it lets the radiologist know that you're not okay, and they will come in, stop and help reposition you. Okay, another thing to expect is that the MRI machine is going to be very loud. When you enter at first in the room, you'll hear a kind of repeated sound. It kind of sounds like a washing machine. And then when you're inside the machine, and every time they're taking a sequence of images from your body, it sounds like a big drill. So it's good to expect loud noise. It's completely normal. Now, this is something that I was unaware of before I had my first scan, and it made the experience very uncomfortable, is that I didn't realize kind of how narrow the machine is, and you can't really see out the top. So it's a very confined space, and it can be very claustrophobic. So it's good to expect that in advance, especially because they ask you to lie still. Okay, another thing to expect is that the radiologists want you to lie perfectly still during the scan. That allows the images to be done properly. So you're not going to be allowed to move or anything like that, which can be a bit scary at first, especially if you're claustrophobic. So it's good to expect that. Now, MRI scans can vary in length. The quickest one I've had was 6 minutes, the longest was 40 minutes. It's always good to ask the radiologist before you step into the machine how long roughly it's going to take. That way, you know, you're not sitting there lying there thinking, oh my God, how much time is left. Having a rough idea of how long it's going to be can kind of ease some of your anxiety when you're in the machine. Then when they've got all the images that they need, the radiologist will come in, take you out of the machine, you'll get dressed and ready to leave. And it normally takes them a while to sort of process the images and give you the results. And when I say a while, I mean, it depends on your country. In France, for instance, here when I've had them done, it took about 20 minutes to get the results. In England, it took a day. And in the US, it took several days. So it completely depends on where you're getting your treatment done. Okay, so I hope you found it helpful to kind of know the things to expect. Now I'm just going to take you through several tips on how to make sure that the MRI is as stress-free as possible when you have it done. First thing, I would not even bring any jewelry or metallic bits in your clothing to the appointment. That way you don't have to take off as much stuff. You're not as worried about, oh, you know, did I forget to remove this or that? Just come, make it as simple as you can for yourself by not wearing those things. Next, I would make sure, if you're claustrophobic, to let the radiologist know that you're claustrophobic. In that case, they will do what they can to make the experience a bit more smooth and comfortable for you. Next point is to make sure that you ask your radiologist sort of how long they expect the scan is going to take. That way you have a rough idea of how long you're going to be in the machine for. And I know I already mentioned this in the video, but it's a really important thing to ask, in my opinion. Okay, next one, potentially the most important one, because you're going to be in a machine lying still for often as long as half an hour, 40 minutes, you have to make sure that the position they install you in feels comfortable. If it doesn't, you can tell the radiologist and they will adjust you. There's nothing worse than lying for 40 minutes in an uncomfortable position while your arm falls asleep and you start twitching. This is something that happened to me quite recently. It was horrendous. So make sure that you are comfortable from the get-go and let the radiologist know if you need adjusting. Okay, so when you're in the actual machine, I would recommend trying to focus on your breathing as much as you can to try and stay calm, because when you're in that narrow space with a lot of noise, it can be kind of hard to remain calm. So deep breathing can really help. Another way to sort of keep track of the time while you're in the machine is if they're playing music in your ears. We know that songs are between sort of 3, 4, 5 minutes long, so you can kind of keep a track of how many songs have played, and that will give you a rough idea of how much time has passed and therefore how much time is left. That can help you feel like the experience is not as never-ending as it might seem sometimes when you're claustrophobic in the machine. Okay, so that's it. That's all my tips and what to expect for an MRI scan. So please let me know if you found this helpful, and I will see you soon for another video. Thank you for watching. Bye.